If you feel like God has abandoned you, watch this story, because sometimes God doesn't break you to destroy you. He breaks you to rebuild you stronger. In a small, quiet town, tucked away in the Blue Ridge Mountains, there lived an old carpenter named Samuel. For over 40 years, Samuel's workshop was the heartbeat of the community. He didn't just build furniture, he built memories, crafting rocking chairs for new mothers, sturdy cradles for infants, and grand dining tables where families shared their holiday meals. Samuel was a man of deep, quiet faith, often telling his neighbors that life is like a piece of raw wood that might look rough and scarred on the outside. But the Master Carpenter knows exactly what's hidden inside, and all it needs is the right touch. But life, as Samuel soon learned, has a way of testing even the strongest foundations, and in one tragic year, everything he loved was taken from him. First, a massive forest fire swept through the valley, reducing his workshop, the place where he had spent half his life, to a pile of gray ash, taking his tools, his rare wood, and his livelihood. Just 3 months later, his beloved wife Sarah passed away in her sleep, and suddenly, the man who spent his life building things felt like everything he loved had been torn down. He moved into a tiny, drafty cabin on the edge of town, stopped carving, stopped going to church, and even stopped praying as the light in his eyes, once so bright, flickered and gone out. "Why me, Lord?" he whispered into the cold silence of his cabin. "I served you. I lived a good life. Now I have nothing. Why did you leave me in the dark?" Winter arrived with a vengeance, the snow piling high against Samuel's door to match the coldness in his heart as he felt like a broken tool, useless and forgotten by his Creator. One Tuesday night, during a fierce blizzard, a loud, frantic knocking startled him. And when he finally opened the door, a young man named Jackson stood there, covered in snow and shivering. Jackson was a local mechanic, a tough man, but tonight his eyes were red from crying as he clutched a small wooden box containing dozens of splintered, shattered pieces of dark mahogany. "Mr. Samuel," Jackson said, his voice breaking, "I know you don't take commissions anymore, but this was my daughter's music box. She's in the hospital right now, very sick, and this was the last thing her mother gave her before she passed away. I dropped it today, and it shattered. And if I can't fix this, I feel like I'm losing the last piece of hope we have left." Samuel looked at the mess of wood, and though he wanted to turn Jackson away because he felt broken himself, he saw a reflection of his own soul in the young man's trembling hands. "Set it on the table," Samuel said softly, and he worked through the night with only a small pocket knife and basic glue, his fingers stiff from the cold. As he began to fit the tiny, jagged splinters together, something miraculous happened. For the first time in a year, he wasn't thinking about his own grief. In the quiet of that cabin, he felt a familiar warmth, a presence speaking to his spirit, telling him that God had never left but was waiting for him to pick up his tools again. Found not only in grand cathedrals, but in the broken pieces. By 5 in the morning, the music box was whole again. And though you could see the faint lines where the wood had been scarred, it was strong. Samuel wound the silver key, and a soft, clear melody filled the tiny cabin, chasing away the shadows of the storm. Jackson wept when he heard it, hugged the old carpenter, and disappeared back into the snowy morning to take the music to his daughter. After Jackson left, Samuel didn't go back to his dark corner. He picked up his pocket knife and realized that God hadn't abandoned him, but had been refining him, and that the silence hadn't been God's absence, but a season of rest before a new purpose. He understood that sometimes God allows our lives to be shattered, not to destroy us, but so He can put us back together in a way that shows His strength even through our scars. If you are watching this today and you feel like you are standing in the ashes of your own life, remember Samuel, because God never abandons His children. He is in the fire, the winter storm, and the broken splinters of your heart. And He doesn't throw away the pieces of your life just because they are cracked. He is waiting for you to bring them back to the table so He can turn your greatest tragedy into a beautiful testimony. Your scars aren't signs of failure. They are the lines where God has glued you back together. And your story isn't over because the Master is still at work.